I thought it was harmless, just a joke. We were sitting on the couch, half watching some mindless show when I said it. You know, if I weren't married, I'd probably date Ryan, I teased, laughing. For a moment, my husband didn't react. The sound from the TV filled the silence, some canned audience laughter that suddenly felt too loud. Then he turned to me, his face unreadable. Would you? He asked quietly. The smile froze on my lips. Oh, come on, I was joking. He didn't laugh. He just stared, eyes fixed on mine like he was searching for something, truth, maybe, or guilt. The air in the room shifted. Ryan was my best friend from college. We'd been close for years, shared inside jokes, late-night talks, memories. He was safe, familiar. At least that's what I told myself. But something in my husband's reaction lingered in my chest like a bruise. I couldn't shake it. The next morning he barely spoke to me. Just coffee keys and a quiet, "Have a good day." It was the way he said it, calm, almost too calm, that made my stomach twist. By lunchtime, I'd convinced myself he was overreacting. I even texted him a silly meme to lighten the mood. He didn't reply. Instead, a message came from Ryan. Lunch? Need to vent. You free? I agreed instantly. Maybe seeing him would distract me from the weird tension at home. When I arrived at the cafe, Ryan was already there, tapping his spoon against a cup of coffee. You okay? I asked. He smirked. You tell me. You're the one whose husband apparently hates me. I frowned. What? He shrugged. He texted me last night. My heart skipped. He what? Yeah, Ryan said casually, like it wasn't strange at all. Said something about giving you space from temptations. Honestly, I thought it was a joke. I sat there frozen. My husband had texted him? Without telling me? What exactly did he say? Ryan leaned back, watching me closely. He said he knows more than I think, and that if I care about you, I should back off. The room seemed to tilt slightly. The air thickened. That's insane, I said finally, trying to laugh, but it came out shaky. He's just jealous. Ryan didn't smile. Is he wrong to be? I blinked at him. What's that supposed to mean? He looked down, stirring his coffee. You know how I feel about you, Lila. Always have. My pulse thudded in my ears. Don't, I whispered. I'm not trying to make things messy, he said quietly. But if your marriage is already cracking, maybe it's time to stop pretending. The cafe noise faded to a dull hum. For the first time, I saw something in Ryan's eyes I'd never acknowledged before. Something that scared me because it wasn't new. It had always been there, and maybe I'd chosen not to see it. When I got home, the apartment was spotless. Too spotless. My husband cleaned when he was angry. It gave him control. He was sitting at the table when I walked in, hands clasped, calm in that terrifying way calm people get when the storm is still coming. How was lunch? He asked. The question sliced straight through the silence. I dropped my bag. You texted him? He nodded. I did. Why would you do that? Because I wanted to see if you'd tell me. I stared at him. Tell you what? That you were meeting him, he said simply. I felt the blood drain from my face. You think I'm cheating? I know you're lying. His voice didn't rise, but the weight of it made my throat close. I'm not, I started, but he stood, cutting me off with a small shake of his head. Lila, he said softly, do you even know how often you talk about him? How your face changes when his name comes up. You laugh differently with him. You touch your phone like you're holding something sacred when you're texting him. You think I don't notice? I opened my mouth to defend myself, but nothing came out, because deep down, part of me knew he was right. Ryan had been my emotional escape. The one I shared my frustrations with, my dreams, even the things I didn't tell my husband. I'd built a second world and I'd let Ryan live in it. I never crossed a line, I said weakly. He looked at me with tired eyes. You did. Just not the kind people can see. Tears burned my eyes. I'm sorry. I didn't mean for it to get this way. I know, he said almost gently. But it doesn't change what it is. That night we barely spoke. He slept on the couch. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, the silence louder than any argument. Days passed and things got colder. He stopped asking where I was going, what I was doing. He stopped caring, or maybe he cared too much to show it anymore. I tried to fix it. Suggested counseling. He agreed, but the sessions were hollow, just polite exchanges between two people dissecting what used to be love. Then one evening I came home to find his phone buzzing on the counter. The name flashing on the screen made my stomach drop. Sophie, therapist. Except Sophie wasn't our therapist. She was his coworker. The one he'd mention once or twice, always briefly, like he didn't want to invite questions. My hands trembled as I opened the messages. "You free tomorrow?" she'd written. "Can't wait to see you again." There were photos too. A dinner table. 2 wine glasses. His hand over hers. When he walked in minutes later, he froze at the sight of me holding his phone. I didn't shout. Didn't cry. Just handed it back to him. "You're seeing her?" He looked at me for a long time before answering. "You made it easy." The words hit harder than anything Ryan ever said. "You wanted distance," he said quietly. "So I gave you space. But someone else filled it." I turned away because if I didn't, I'd break. He walked past me into the bedroom, closing the door softly behind him. That sound, the gentle click, hurt more than a slammed door ever could. That night, I sat alone in the kitchen, staring at the cold cup of tea he'd left behind. I thought about my joke, how it all started with a few careless words. How I'd laughed and he'd seen something real behind it. Maybe he'd known all along that a part of me was already halfway gone. In the end, betrayal isn't always about who you sleep with. Sometimes it's about who you think about when your partner's sitting right next to you. And when both of you start thinking about someone else, love doesn't end with a bang. It dissolves quietly, like sugar and water, until there's nothing left to taste but regret.